Going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to take you through my favorite divisional future for this upcoming NFL season. It's one that I think you guys will really like. We're going to do a little bit of a deep dive. This will be a few minutes long just to give you guys a taste, and then we'll get into it. Before that, though, just some quick housekeeping. If you want my lean, guys, on every single team's win total. So if you're looking for win totals, I'm going to link it here. I have a video with all 32 teams where I go through, I give you a lean on their win total. It's like a mini preview for each team's season. A lot of info packed into that one. Go check it out. It's quite a bit longer. Second thing is podcast will be back up next week. We have an episode coming. Bruce and I back together. Get you ready for week one. We go through a bunch of games. We also go through some systems, trends, a lot of data. There's some really good info in there. So check that out when it comes out. And lastly, I'll link the season pass down in the description for those interested. A lot of you have already jumped on, but we've released about 7 futures. There's more to come, and week one picks will probably come next week. So if you want to join us for the whole football season, down low in the description for the Gridiron Pass. Okay. Now, when I'm picking a divisional future, guys, and I want it to be not, something more than a sprinkle. If I say it's going to be a standard bet for me, I'm going to put a unit on this, a solid unit. I want to pick a division that essentially has a 2-team race, right? I don't want to have too much variance unless I'm looking for the long shot. Variance is good for long shots, but not great for solid standard bets. So I'm going to take you guys to the NFC East, where I really like the Eagles to win this division, which they did not do last year. So I think this is a little bit of a bounce back for Philly. It's currently minus 120 in the market. Now, when full disclosure, when I gave this out weeks ago, it was around plus 100, maybe plus 105. I think I got plus 100 on this. But I still like this. I like it up to minus 140. And I think there's a lot of reasons why you can expect Philly to do much better this year. Now, last year, it's very easy to forget. People can forget, right? They were 10-1 last year before crumbling to end the year. They ended 11-6, and then they get blown out in the wild card round against the Bucs in Tampa. So really a very bitter, sour taste left in the mouth of Eagles fans and in the team in general, just a bad end to the season. But I like the changes that they've made. I love the addition of Saquon Barkley. I like Kellen Moore as the OC to bring back some life into that offense, which got very, very predictable last year, very one-dimensional. Expect that to completely be flipped on its head this year. Scheme changes, all good stuff. I think the offense is going to be one of the best in the NFL, if not the best in the NFL. So I really like their offensive changes. And then I have to look at the other teams in the division, right? So we look at the Cowboys, who won 12 games and the division last year. And I think they're primed to take a step back here. Issues with the run. I mean, you come into the season with your depth chart as your Ezekiel Elliott as your RB1. This is rough. I mean, Pollard is gone. This is going to be a rough team. You got the contract issues with CeeDee Lamb that still have to be figured out. And that's going to impact how they prepare for the year. I think the Cowboys could be due to take a step back. And I think that those odds makers agree with me because a 12-win team is sitting here with a posted win total of 9.5. So the odds makers also expect the Cowboys to take a step back. They do play a bit of a tougher schedule. And the other thing is that look at the other 2 teams in the division that they beat up on last year. The Giants now have their quarterback back. Say what you want about him. He's not great, but they have somebody back at least. They played most of last year without a quarterback at all. And the Commanders are going to be improved, and Jaden Daniels is going to be explosive, and he's going to steal some games for them or keep them in games that they shouldn't win. So I think the other 2 teams can maybe pose a little bit of a tougher task for you. If I put this in terms of like a power ranking level, I think Philly has cleared a bit of space between them and Dallas, while the other 2 teams have gained a little bit on the Cowboys. They're still significantly worse. They're not going to compete for the division, but they've gained a bit where they can maybe be a nuisance or a thorn in the side of the Cowboys throughout the season. So I think the other 2 teams in the division can maybe give them a little bit of problems where they won't really give Philly many problems. The schedule is harder for Dallas as well. So I think it kind of feels like 3 teams took a bit of progress forward and the Cowboys took a bit of step back. So I think they're not going to be as competitive as people think they will be. I actually think they might just win 9 games this year while the Eagles win 10 plus, and that'll make this an easy win. The other, excuse me, the last thing I'll say here is what I really like for Philly as well is the fact that their schedule is front loaded. I'll throw up their schedule here. As you can see, those tougher games are in the beginning. This is from the Sharp Football Analysis book. And as you can see, it's graded by color coded for how easy the wins are. Look at all the green towards the end and look at how they end the season a lot easier than they did last year. So I actually think that while I am playing this future now, I think if they start a little bit, maybe a little shaky because they got their tougher games in the beginning, maybe they start and they're just around 500 or maybe just a game over 500 after 7-8 weeks, you could snipe a ton of value on this divisional future for them to end the season really strong and bypass the Cowboys, similar to what the Bills did to the Dolphins last year. The Dolphins led the division most of the season, and the Bills rattled off a bunch of wins at the end. The Dolphins collapsed because they had a tough end to their schedule. The Eagles schedule, very front heavy and gets easier at the end. I like that for them, especially in a year where they're supposed to bounce back from a rough end to their season. So there's going to be an emphasis on finishing the season strong. There's going to be an emphasis on staying healthy, not worrying so much about those early games and not worrying about running the score up and things like that. It's going to be an emphasis on finishing the season strong against weak opponents to set yourself up for a deep playoff run. So I like the Eagles to win the NFC East at -120. That's my favorite one, guys. There's I've given out 2 more, and in total, I've given out 7 futures so far. One of them is a 2-unit. It's my favorite one. It is a win total on a team. It's a 2-unit play. But other than that, week 1 picks will be out next week. And like I said, check out the video on the win totals. Look down in the description. The Gridiron Pass is there. The last thing I'll say about the Gridiron Pass, last 3 years in college football and NFL combined, we're up over 90 units. So that kind of gives you an idea of how this has become kind of our bread and butter. It wasn't really intended to be that way, but we just have more success with football than we do the other sports. So check that out if you're interested. And thanks for watching this, guys. Eagles, go Eagles, win the NFC East. Let's get it.